Welcome to a new episode of DT Vector, the podcast where we explore the people, technologies, financing, and the ideas that are shaping the future of the built environment. I'm Eugen Ursu, your host, and today I'm joined by Matus Liptak. He's a Chief Operating Officer at HB Reavis Investments. They are an international workspace provider that are operating across UK, Germany, Slovakia, Poland, and Hungary, and we'll find out more what they are doing. And we'll discuss about technology and real estate, and we'll see Matus' perspective on where we are right now in this space. Welcome, Matus, to DT Vector. Great to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Eugene.
Yeah, and thank you for accepting the invitation. From what we know till now, we have, let's say, you've built a career at the intersection of business operation and business transformation, and you have quite a history. Can you tell the story on how you got in this position?
Yes, I will. My pleasure. So first of all, I would start in the early days. I was working with the assistant to a World Bank economist who was responsible for, at that time, for Slovakia, which was undergoing fairly significant economical transformation. So it was a wonderful opportunity to simply start to work with data and understand the meaning behind the data elements. Afterwards, I've joined IBM here in Slovakia, and with 14 years that I spent across multiple different organizations, lines of business, and different countries, it gave me a very good perspective in understanding also the corporate side of corporate IT, and also working in a truly global environment with various cultures and various technologies, and also understanding the way of functioning of truly a large-scale corporation. And then I had the opportunity to join HB Reavis, which still stands as a very unique company that had been able to build its journey from, let's say, tiny Bratislava projects to truly from a large-scale European player. And I'm here.
And you're saying from all these perspectives, you have the banking background, the technology background. Now in real estate, what is unique? What the company is doing right?
I think it all kind of blends in my current role, because it is first of all a people business. Even though it's HB Reavis is a fully integrated developer and asset manager. So it really starting from the very beginning through the entire life cycle of it. People are in the center, right? People that are our clients, the employees of our clients, the retail customers, and these interactions are absolutely essential in both the design and also in the way how we operate the buildings in our portfolio. So this is one aspect which is probably where I'm capitalizing on the experiences I had before. It has also a huge technology aspect. Buildings nowadays are very sophisticated, from even the base building technologies, the software solutions that are being used to both optimize the workplace, to make sure that clients can use spaces and also in a comfortable manner. And but this, it's a lot about data, about knowledge, about understanding the way how things function and implications does it have on, of course, first of all, the client satisfaction, but also actual cost of operating the real estate.
Let's say from a small group of real estate guys, if I can say that are saying or are putting so much value on data. So I'm curious how the conversation will be from now on, and I'm so curious to find out how you're using the data, what data are you looking right now, and so on. But if there's a lesson, and probably a lot of lesson learned in this career path, what's the most valuable from this transition between, let's say, banking, technology, and corporate transformation to what you are doing now as a leader on operational in real estate?
A word, if I narrow it down, I would probably say that the continuous passion to learn. And I think it's, it starts, of course, in the early days when you start to observe and then you go through the school, but in many cases, it never ends. And I think that's passion for learning new things and really discovering, exploring, experimenting. It's definitely something that I consider as very, very important. And also to learn from the others. And I have a great privilege to be surrounded by extremely capable colleagues, which are enriching my, even I would say, day-to-day of learning new things on a daily basis.
That's great, and I can say I can feel you, because sometimes even I'm doing a podcast, but on the day-to-day business, I'm running a business. So, but I'm wondering myself where I have the drive to do this. But it's in fact, as you said, I like to learn, to meet new people, and to learn from people. And here you are as well to learn from this experience. So yeah, I really feel you on this. So if you can describe a little more what your, let's say, what HB Reavis is doing right now. They are developing real estate, they are asset managers. What really they are doing? What are you doing as a company?
So in a nutshell, both of the areas. So we are a real estate developer. So we have active projects where we are, as I said, starting from the early on. So we are responsible for the land acquisition, for design, for construction, for leasing. And we have a couple active projects in Germany and Berlin and in London, UK. We have also a couple projects in Central Europe that are soon to be started. Yes, our current footprint is also strongly tied to asset management. We have a portfolio which is formed from commercial real estate, mostly office. We have a couple landmark projects which are worth mentioning. In Warsaw, we have the tallest building in European Union. It is truly exceptional place which kind of combines hotel, office, even I would say a shopping mall, viewing terrain. And it's a very, very special place. We have additional one in Warsaw, which is very green. It has unbelievable level of biofuel, which makes it also very close to my heart, because I mean, when you are there, you truly feel slightly different than in a standard office space. In Breslau, we have the most exquisite shopping center in Central Europe, which very quickly became probably the most successful and has also great potential for going forward. And the same thing for our UK projects, where I've been able to deliver first building, which was net zero carbon and also net zero carbon in operations. To a great extent, also made us very proud that not only delivering a sophisticated building, but also being very responsible towards environment. And that the commitments that we have made as a company are not only, let's say, greenwashing statements, but we truly walk the talk. In our Berlin project, I would mention that it's a nice combination of literally historical buildings and the new builds, where there are very few rare occasions where you're able to preserve the heritage and combine it with a new architecture.
And I think there are a lot of challenges if I'm looking at across regions where it's easier to build right now, for you guys at least.
Certainly in Western Europe, because of clarity and, well-established procedures, and simply the ease of doing business is transparent, predictable, and structured. And we appreciate that.
And from the, let's say, country-wise, you're saying it's easier to make UK or in Germany?
Good question. I would tend to say that maybe in UK, even though it's very complex, right? You have the sophistication of the market brings alongside also the huge demand and some things which we would never be requested to deliver in other countries. And also consider London market probably the most competitive in Europe. There are even European players, global players present. It's a capital that attracts lots of sophisticated companies. So I think that also helps us to be very focused, and therefore we are very active on the London market, and I would even dare to say successful.
And what do you think in this competitive market, what differentiates your developments, your development, and your business model from other large scale office providers?
I think our quest for uncompromised quality is definitely helping also in London. We're focusing on really the A plus category of offices, which are attracting the most worldwide recognized brands as a client, as a tenant. And in order to do that, creates a need to deliver best design, best architecture, also to not look at the building as glass, steel, and just the square meters that you're renting as a place where people are spending a lot of time. So it also takes into consideration the materials, services that we as a landlord are providing to the tenants, and also the fact that we are a company that in the design phase take into consideration the operational challenges. So we very early on are of, okay, well, design is not dictating how the building will be operated. It's a compromise. So it's one respects the other. So we're not creating design just for sake of design, but something that is lasting and be maintained and can deliver the value on a long-term basis.
So basically, we can say you start the design thinking at the asset management.
Definitely take it into consideration. Yeah. So it's also not the other way around, that the operation would be dictating, okay, well, you're going to be using only this type of surfaces because it's easy to clean, but then it would probably, the overall effect would suffer. But it is a compromise, and yes, sometimes it creates a tension internally because there might be differing opinions. I think that helps in the end to deliver a better product.
In this debate, let's put it like that, because you want to do a project that is good for the community, for the well-being. You want, okay, to have profits, to be easy to operate. How a team decides what to do for the project? What is better for the project from, let's say, your company's perspective?
This is a great question, and many times there's no one easy answer to this. Over the 30 years, more than 30 years that we're on the market, I believe we have established our signature style. We have established our guiding principles. Would be doing one building after another, and same. We've been able to create self-standing country operations, and however, we've been able to distill the key principles which we are applying across the buildings. And we have a really lean process throughout all phases of real estate development, where we are able to quickly make the right decision.
And even in managing this kind of situation, because okay, you're working in many countries, where does the teams come from? They're multicultural, I guess. Where they're mostly your colleagues are from where?
So I would say probably more than 20 different nationalities in our company.
Okay.
And not only European. So we're, from this sense, a truly global organization. However, majority of people are coming from the countries where we are operating at. And frankly, when I joined Reavis, I thought that, well, being in Europe, we have slight nuances, but it's let's say one distinct culture, and you need to be adjusting if you compare it to, let's say, global exposure. But I was proven wrong very soon, because there are nuances even differing Poland to Hungary or Slovakia to Germany. They're absolutely critical. They are important to be taken into consideration while designing, operating, doing business. And I think the fact that we have our country in operations, this helps us to be truly close to that given market.
And you are saying about how important it is for you to learn. Do you see that your colleagues, or maybe we can expand that in the real estate market, where that was maybe more in technology or maybe in banking? How do you see this sector, real estate sector? They're into learn.
So when I was joining the real estate sector, I read a couple of very interesting books, which kind of gave me a good introduction into the area, which is, and it still is very cyclical, right? So there are even would say, very predictable cycles, and it influences both the financial aspect of the real estate. It influences the design, influences the tech, the way how you construct the buildings. And if you compare it to, let's say, the informational technology sector, it is way more agile. It's much faster, and it's way more unpredictable. So I know 10 years ago, it would be, those people that would be betting on AI becoming so hyped as it is now would be prophets, right? On the side of real estate, you can make these type of predictions, right? So real estate is, from this perspective, probably more predictable, but hence real estate has this tangible aspect, right? You have something physical, you have something which is even great enabler of every different sector to operate, because we as human beings are very social creatures. We need to meet each other. We need to work together. And if we take into consideration the COVID era, where there were voices like, well, office is going away and people will not be coming back to the offices anymore, we were very confident that this is something which is very temporary, because it needs culture. Companies need the collaboration. They need to. We all need to work together. And I think this makes real estate very special. It is, in a way, cornerstone of all the other sectors, because this is where people are spending their work life.
And what do you think it drives a change in real estate? It's the laws changing, let's say, because I'm saying that to adopt a new technology here, as you said, okay, we are finding the cycle, so maybe sometimes we need or don't need to change, but the buildings are evolving. We have now, maybe we're talking more about ACG, about digital twin. At least we're talking about these things. Okay, we'll have to talk about the adoption part, but how is change made in the way that we're building? Maybe our information coming from talking to the tenants. I don't know how do, let's say, your company learns from what's happening in the past developments, and how is evolving looking into the future.
If I take it to our company, I think we've been fairly even trendsetting in many aspects. So even if you look at commercial aspect of real estate, right? So on top of traditional contracts, we've been able to implement flexible term contracts. We've created our own co-working platform, because we've seen that the environment outside has this new emerging aspect of new companies simply booming from three great individuals building even a global corporation. And it's essentially interesting to establish a partnership with them early on, and really thrilled to say that we have a couple of clients like that started as startups in our hub premises, into our serviced office, and now became traditional companies in the, let's say, the real estate area. This is one thing which I believe was, now it's fairly standard, but in years ago it was something which was unique. And I think we've had this courage to try and to experiment, and also to set new standards. Another area is implementing technologies, not only in the, let's say, the base building aspects of the ways, but we've been working with lots of sensory elements to ensure that the conditions within the rental premises are at all times the most pleasant. So lights, thermal comfort, the level of CO2, the air volumes of fresh air, times people spending 8 to 10 to 12 hours in the office, and having meetings where people feel fatigued and not concentrated. It is many times caused by poor air quality, and been able to find ways how to really ensure that that particular meeting room receives enough air, I believe helped us a lot to be different than the others. And we've created entire technological platform from building app, sensors, data, to deliver different experience to our clients.
What are the tenants saying? What are the clients saying about this?
Well, and this is one challenge of, let's say, asset manager, or property manager that you usually are in a standard terms, you would deal with the tenants when clients, when they're thing, right? I mean, the normal circumstances, there are very few interactions. And if there are any, it's about issues, right? And we definitely wanted to change this notion of, okay, so dealing with issues and, or the other way around, have you paid your invoice? We don't want to be clerks. We don't want to be viewed as a landlord. We want to be viewed as a partner. And in order to be viewed as a partner, we need to understand their business. We need to understand their challenges, and we need to also understand their feedback. And we have literally done lots of experiments in retrieving the feedback from the people, from, let's say, giving even employees the chance to talk to us, to give us their insights through Net Promoter Score. We've been running, let's say, structured NPS across the project. We've even been able to establish an NPS mechanism in our commercial terms to help us really adjust the rental level based on the satisfaction of the employees of a tenant. But now, recently, we have conducted, in cooperation with Leaseman, a survey across our entire portfolio. And I'm really proud that we've been the first portfolio asset manager that have done this across all clients, all projects. And I'm really proud that we have reached very, very high levels. So we have buildings which are all buildings are Leaseman Plus, which is on its own unique. And we have buildings with outstanding score.
That's great. And we were speaking about data and information and how valuable that is. What data are you collecting? And now let's see, we speak a little bit about the operation part, but let's say from the design part and until it's hand over to the facility management side of the business.
So I probably would be better to be asked about the operations data because
Okay.
from a perspective of, let's say, design and construction, I deal as a, let's say, I don't want to say bystander, but as the one who's providing the operational view. So if I may answer from an operational standpoint, buildings nowadays produce a lot of data, but it's unstructured, disconnected, and unstructured and disconnected. So what we have done, we have started to, you mentioned digital twin. So this is something that we're definitely capitalizing on for those projects where we have our BIM models. It helps you more effectively manage some technological aspects. But when we looked at the data that would be beneficial for our client, we have started to look on integrating the different systems into each other. So parking system, access system, lifts, the building management system. It provides lots of insights in terms of how the building is being utilized by its occupiers. And this helps us to understand which days are the most used, so we can adjust our, let's say, cleaning and security routines and some technology settings, which days are the least utilized, so we can maybe outsize some of the activities to make sure that the costs are as effective as possible. And you also mentioned the ESG aspect as well. This is becoming more and more important to be able to also not only to safeguard monetary spends, but also the CO2 emission production of the buildings.
Okay, talking to a lot of experts, many say that modern building will eventually have a digital twin. From your perspective, and let's say from how you strategize in your company, how far are we from that reality when we'll have a full, complete digital twin? Is 5 years, 10, sooner, later?
Depends on what do we mean by digital twin. We've seen many wannabe digital twin solutions, but if you truly want to have a digital twin of your building, I think we're fairly far away from it. What amount of years, I would be hesitant to predict, but I think we're fairly far.
Very far. That's when I'm thinking, because it's a good question. What is a digital twin? And everybody is thinking differently about that. From, the understanding of, let's say, people from the industry, they're all seeing that it's an autonomous thing. But you have to make the steps till then because you need the information through whole the, let's say, design and build cycle. You need that to be handed to the asset management part, and you need structured information, maybe with, and not maybe, but maybe with open standards, because you don't have to be in one platform, that to be captive in one platform. And nowadays, for sure, we're seeing a lot of, let's say, PropTech startups that are doing a lot of noise regarding digital twins. And okay, when you're in this space and you have to have a return of investment, you have to be sure that, okay, you invest in one platform or one standard, or let's say, but that has to suit your strategy as well. So, but as you've said, the answers will take a while until we'll have that.
And especially in order to have true digital twin, you need to make these decisions very early on. You need to start in the design phase thinking that you will have a digital twin solution. You need to adjust your routines, your operations, your organizational structure, your commercial model. It's not like you have a standing building and you implement a PropTech solution. It doesn't work.
Exactly. It's more about standardization than it's about software solution. Because if you have, as you said, as a real estate developer, strategy that combines all the information in, let's say, one common data environment, to put it like that, and you have all the traceability through all the stages, probably at the end you could have digital twin with, let's say, zero cost to develop, to put it like that. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit because the industry needs to learn a lot till we're all aligned on that. But yeah, you're right. Probably we need a strategy to start from day one with, let's say, all the data in the same place. And yeah, for that we need a lot more. So returning at what you're offering to the tenants, to the clients, how do you see the workspace as a service concept evolving? Because it seems like you're really close to the client, and on the, let's say, on alongside their strategy to develop or to shrink. Maybe your mic, it's
Sorry about that. So in terms of workspace as a service, we are a strong believer of this claim or part. We've seen even in this, let's say, post-COVID era, that there is a flight towards higher quality, maybe smaller real estate footprint, but with a very different level of quality of the space, which is something that I believe we were really truly prepared for. Even in our own premises, we have created our space as a work-based design. So people have places for focused work, for team collaboration, for large gatherings. And, you wouldn't see cubicles where people would spend 8 hours sitting down and working just with their computer. And I greatly fancy that style, because it truly helps the company to be effective. And we see that more and more across the segments, even financial, IT, operations, it's happening more and more. I think we as a asset manager can do to support it is through services that we deliver on a building level, right? So people are spending good portion of their awake time in work. And we've created a carefully curated set of services that we are helping them to deal with challenges of a daily life, right? So we see a lots of intersection between, let's say, hotel and office industry in terms of hospitality, this welcoming aspect, and being able to even offload some of your duties to, let's say, a concierge within a building. So you don't need to take care of it. It will be taken care for you. We see also lots of kind of a need to create communities, right? So people want to meet each other even outside of, let's say, the companies that they work. They want to spend time. There's lots of focus on physical and mental health. So we've been able to create events and programs with the reputable partners in the local markets to deliver mental well-being and also physical, I would even say, health-related services to the building. And this creates a community. This creates a sense of belonging. This creates a reason to actually come to the office. And to feel treated professionally and very well.
You're speaking about community. How about the work from home trend? You have, and it differs from country to country, or do you see a trend, international trend?
We certainly see an international trend, and I think the work from home has been here for quite some time. I mean, it started with internationalization and globalization of the work. And with the COVID era, it kind of boomed, but then it kind of comes back to this hybrid model, right? So I don't think that working from home will go away. And I think it provides a very good flexibility to both also work-life integration and, dealing with flexible working time. But the same applies also for the work from office. It is essential, and, it is cornerstone of how we produce value across all segments. So I think inevitably it will be here. The right balance probably is still to be found. And we see also very interesting trends on how companies are dealing with it, right? Because you've had initially like, okay, well, you all work from home. We will support you. Please don't come to the office. And then when the company started to attract people back to the office, there were multiple different aspects like, oh, please come to 2 days, 3 days, or some companies even making very strong statements like, if you're interested in a career growth, you need to do it from office. In case you are okay to lose your job in, let's say, a year's time, feel free to work from.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot these days. So
and we even
we'll
see
how
the
that
4-day working week, right? So we have a client that works only 4 days a week.
yeah, a lot of interesting changes,
Yes.
and we'll see how that evolves. But how do you think in, I don't know if 5 years are enough or maybe 10, how the ideal office building will look like? And now I'm thinking both in terms of design and purpose.
Yeah, so from, let's say, design perspective, I think we'll be seeing more and more, let's say, more sophisticated ways of construction, maybe even timber structures in markets where it will be both legally permitting and also cost-wise permitting. From, let's say, outer architecture, I'm sure we'll be seeing more and more amazing buildings being delivered. But from inside, I believe that it will be evolving a lot, right? And it will be certainly moving towards being enabler for human interaction. Even in era of AI and of transforming the jobs, which some of them might be obsolete, new will be emerging. But this interaction between people still will be important, and office space definitely will be an enabler of that, even in.
And do you see that happening even on the inside of the building and on the outside as well, maybe in, let's say, collaboration with other developers, with the city, so to be part of the urban life maybe?
We certainly see it in both collaboration with the cities and also with our clients. We see way more used type of schemes. We see a potential for different, let's say, functions being within one, let's say, real estate project, co-living, co-working, traditional office, build to rent, traditional housing. And this is something retail, of course, and all different kinds of retail, providing services, fitness, etc. So I believe that, like large one purpose built buildings will be less and less. You will have probably more mixed use type of schemes, which will, enable the full utilization of the premises.
And what's your, let's say, favorite space or building from your portfolio?
Favorite building, I admire Warsaw Place. It's a building which I know from, very early on through very early stages of construction. And every time I'm there, I feel amazed. It's like this. It simply, it is special.
You changed industries in the past. Do you see in the future changing, going to another industry as well?
I don't see it now. I always try to be fully focused and fully committed to what I'm doing. I think this change had given me some, let's say, inner peace and inner freedom that, even though from outside it seems that these two industries are very different, and they truly are. But I believe that even if you are, coding applications, running real estate or farming crops or having horses, if you have the right passion and and the wealth, it will be very fulfilling. So currently I'm not seeing it, but I wouldn't.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what accomplishments and or initiatives are you most proud of from this time being in this
Well, I'm proud for the fact that we are truly running a European portfolio. This is something which is giving us exposure to dozens of global corporations, to the most demanding clients. And I'm truly proud that we have probably the best team of people that are able to deal with. And asset management is about thousands of things. It's not one distinct process that is to be followed and everything will be right. Or it's those thousand details that need to work together to create this unique and remarkable experience.
Because we're almost at the end of our podcast. I have 2 or 3 more questions about some let's say things to learn or lesson for the audience maybe. And okay, maybe there are some future leaders to put it like that are trying to navigate through this digital and cultural transformation, what they have to do to navigate in traditional industries like real estate.
I think it boils down to common sense, right? And I think real estate is wonderful from our so we need to be humble to understand to understand the history and to the past, because that's extremely important to understand the fundamentals. There's lots of even PropTech wise, right? So there's so many different solutions, but it has to make sense. And common sense will guide you to make the right choices and the right decisions.
How do you build common sense?
I think you need to be challenging the status quo, right? You need to be asking questions. You need to validate. You need to probe. You need to see the evidence, and you need to be persistent and eventually also failing, but you will find a common sense.
Mm-hmm. And whose work or thinking do you follow closely for inspiration? It's business, technology, built environment, or thinking, I don't know, personal development.
I follow work of, or maybe you follow a podcaster, Lex Friedman, who kind of covers really very broad variety of interesting personnel, from tech leaders, even let's say extremely successful entrepreneur, authors, physics, scientists, and even politicians, right? And I find it very enriching to not read through, let's say, article headlines, but to listen to a 4-hour deep analysis of a particular topic.
Yeah, it's quite a guy to follow. And from my perspective as a host of a podcast, it's far away in the future. But yeah, it's a great host. And finally, if you could recommend one person we should invite next on DT Vector, who would it be and why?
So hopefully it will be okay with her, but I would have a name in mind. I would be Erika, who is a workspace lead in British Petrol. She's she's on the side of a client, but the person who is extremely well versed in managing global workspace across hundreds of locations, different asset classes, from very industrial to the top office locations across lots of regions. And I'm really always very thrilled when I deal with her, how knowledgeable she is and how connected to the common sense trends in real estate she is. So.
That's great. Thank you for that recommendation, Matus, and big thank you for coming to our, let's say, small podcast about this real estate industry, because, okay, looking into the future and seeing maybe a more digital one, but in the interest of people, we try to explore more on what we need to do to get to that. A big thank you once again, and thanks for coming to our podcast.
Thank you very much, Eugene, and it has been a great pleasure. Thank you.
And for the audience, until next time, I'm Eugen Ursu, and this is DT Vector, the platform that is connecting the dots of the built world. Thank you. Bye-bye.